Hey guys, this is Locke. This is my review on Learte, who I must say is a lot better than I initially thought. To give you some context, for the upcoming CM, there is a cost limitation of 220, and I really want to take King Mont, who has a cost of 100. So I also want to take another 80 cost unit, so I realized I have to either bring Learte or Zazan. And of the two, I decided to go with Learte. That was my thought process because looking at the skills, I realized I probably want Learte, and with all her status effects once she gets to 120. So that was my thought process going into this, and I realized, okay, I'll go with Learte. So I already invested in her. I got her to 120, started using her. So this is the build that I was using. I'm going to show that, and then I'm going to talk about what I realized and so on and so on. But first of all, let me go through why I wanted to use her. So with her level 120 skills, she gets upgraded. Her Shadow Bind gets upgraded, such that it inflicts both poison and immobilize for 3 turns. With a lot of enemies having, with a lot of units having high HP, like for example King Want, poison is a effective way to deal with them because poison always ticks down to a percentage of their health. So it doesn't matter what their defense or how big their HP is, it always goes by a percentage of health. So King Mont actually does have some poison resistance, so it might not be as effective for him, but it's still effective just in general. For example, Titus, I've had poison tick do like 2k of Titus's damage each turn. So that's pretty powerful. Her second enhancement is the charge enhancement. So charge now, don't really use charge much just because of the cast speed that's associated with it. So you have to charge for a period of ticks before you can cast the skill. Typically, I don't use it, but now with the enhancement, it gives you a 25% chance to charm the target when you use charge. That 25%, if both Learte and the enemy has 97 faith, that becomes a 49% chance to charm them, which is pretty huge. So I realized that was a pretty good skill. So I plan to use that a lot. And finally, her level 120 skill is a similar skill where she gets a 25% chance to stop the target. So with the addition of these 3 skills, now she can charm, stop, and poison immobilize targets. And maybe enemies have resistance to one or more of these, but unlikely that have resistance to everything. So, for example, Yuna has resistance to charm, but she is weak to stop, so I can always stop her um, to deal with her. So yeah, so that's how I plan to use Learte, and I thought, okay, she has all these things going for her. She also has what is it? Where did it go? Sharpshoot. Where is Sharpshoot? There it is. Sorry. So you also has Sharpshoot, which is a guaranteed hit. So with this skill, even if I face heavy evade units, this is guaranteed to hit. So I at least have this tool in my toolbox of units that I at least have one guaranteed hit unit. So this is what I was thinking, and I figured her passives, which is Ranger Lore, which increases accuracy rate, and Focus, which reduces activation time and raises missile attack, which is good for using charge. I decided with the setup, she's a pretty good ranger. She has range 5+1 because of Ranger Lore, so 6 range on most of her skills. And I decided she was okay. So let me show you the build that I was using with her like this. So I gave her the platinum bow, and with this setup, she has 80 agility. She actually starts with 50 base, so which is on the lower side, and I think she's like 42. Let me just take a look at her base agility. 42, yep. Her base agility is 42, which is really, really low. So, but thankfully, with the setup, she has something like 80 agility, using an agility card and using the Chocobo Esper, and of course using 2 different items that increases her agility. I actually think this Bewitching Boots is really good for her because first of all, it increases her agility for 3 turns by 25%, which is one of her weak points, and secondly, increases range by 1. So her range 6 skills become range 7, which is really good for her because she doesn't have much HP. So the further she can stay away from enemies, the better for her. So with that setup, she has 869 attack, and she looks okay. She also has reflex for those clutch wins. So I decided, this is a pretty good setup. If I use her with Mont and another person, she is good. She can do a lot of different status inflicting uh, skills to enemies and disrupt their plans. You don't know if charm is going to land or not. So if an enemy doesn't have charm resist, they're going to want to stay away from you. So you can actually make the first move whenever it is convenient for you. Or if they're going to rush you, you can charm them or stop them or immobilize them, right? So you know, I thought about this and I was like, yeah, I think this is pretty good. I think this is a team I'm going to go with. The one thing that I came across that I didn't like when I was playing with her was that she doesn't have too many like buffs. She only had vigilance, which to me was a throwaway buff. Like, I'm not going for an evade build with this. So even if I did, like if I went with 3 evade cards or something, then I don't really want to use King Mod. I'll probably want to use somebody else. So it didn't really make too much sense for me to go all like full out evade. And then I also have to remove this item, the pod 153, and give her like a Sage's hat or something. So for all those reasons, I decided I would like I would use the skill, but I didn't really think it was very useful. So whenever I'm approaching enemies that I did practice battles with, I would use the skill just to build up TP, because I need her to be using her skills. Like her normal attack is not going to do much. So I need her to keep using skills, and her skills are, if I'm using every turn, they do become a little bit expensive, like 23 AP for charm, uh, 15 AP for the immobilized poison skill, and 23 AP for the stop arrow as well. So as I was playing, I was like, maybe there's a different sub job that I could use that might give her more TP abilities, more useful TP abilities. And for some reason, I actually never looked at her other sub jobs until this moment. And when I looked at it, I was like, wait, she has White Mage. That means she can also do Protect and Shell. So Protect and Shell don't give much TP either, but they are very useful, especially if I'm going with a King Mon tank, because that would increase my resistance to physical damage by 25% with Protect, and resistance to magical damage by 25% with Shell. So I decided, hey, you know what? This is pretty good. I can just go with this. I give up sharpshoot and vigilance, and yeah, this is only going to give me 6 TP instead of 10, but this is a so much more useful skill to have, right? And then I said, hey, but she also has like Kurada, and she also has access to full life, which I didn't take because I won't be able to use it for this CM, but for upcoming CMs, she has full life. But I was like, okay, so she has Kurada. I wonder how much she can heal, because she only has 282 magic. So then I decided, what if I actually just change her to be like a white mage ranger? So instead of this item, I gave her Elven Bow. I actually don't have enough ore to get this maxed up to level 50, but so there's a little bit more. I think it's like 163 or something. The magic caps out at, or maybe a little bit more. But anyway, so I'm gonna give her the Elven Bow, and then I decided I would probably give her the Bahamut Esper if I'm not using another magic unit as my level 80 cost UR. I could probably use Bahamut on her. Now she doesn't have the resonance, but between Chocobo and Bahamut, she gets an additional 4 agility. So right now she has 80 agility. That would go up to 84. And on top of that, she would get access to all these things with Bahamut. Let me just take a look here. So she would get access to all these magic up nodes, which would increase her healing. She would also get access to Maneater. Like the magic attack up probably doesn't do anything. I'm probably going to respec out of that. But Maneater, it would still affect her like physical damage. Whatever damage she does, Maneater would affect it unless it's against a non human type, which is like Ninus or 2B. But I can also give her accuracy and critical hit. Maybe that might come handy, especially for auto attacking and building up AP. But I said, I think this is a better build that I'm going to go for, because she actually would probably be able to heal decently. When I say decently, I'm not expecting her to heal like 4k. But, well, let's take a look at it and see how much she actually heals with this build. And keep in mind that this is actually going to be higher once I equip Bahamut. I can't do that right now just because she doesn't have resonance. She has like level 1 resonance. But with this setup, using this bow, she was healing 4. And both Kingmont and Learte have 97 faith. So that also obviously affects the healing. But I was pretty happy with it. Let me just take a look. So Kurada gives him 17, 13 healing, which is not bad at all. Like I'm planning to build him as a tank, so I don't expect him to get hit for like 4 or 5k each hit, right? So like a 2k heal I think is great on him for a unit that's not really a healer, right? So she can cast Protect and Shell, reduce Kingmont's damage. She can heal him for those clutch heals, like especially if I have to move up with him and I know he's going to be getting hit. I can use the skill to maybe go in between enemies' attacks to keep healing him. Um, and of course, all her offensive capabilities can still be used with this magic build. Like her stop arrow still works, her poison arrow still works, her charm still works. She won't be doing as much damage, but I never really counted on her to do a lot of damage anyway. So she still has all the offensive supporting capabilities that comes with her, while she also has now access to a 2k heal. Probably will be a little bit above 2k, I'm assuming, once I fully get resonance with Bahamut. Um, yeah, I'm expecting it to be like 2k or 2.1k or something. And she has Protect and Shell, and she has Asuna, because a lot of enemies are going to be using, status effects. That's what I see coming up for the CM. Like you're probably going to get a lot of people using Disable, and like yeah, it's Disable, Stop, and Charm, and all kinds of things. So Asuna doesn't help with Stop, I don't think, but I let me just take a look. Yeah, it helps with, well, all of these things. It helps with Confusion, Paralysis, Disable, Stun, Berserk. Oh, it helps with Berserk as well. That's good to know, because I am expecting to see a lot of enemies using Berserk. So if you're having trouble with fighting Kingmont, you can use Asuna to remove Berserk. So with that, I think she is very, very good. She has like so many things going for her, and she's only 30 cost. I do have to come up with a disclaimer again. If you are a new player and you're watching this guide, don't invest in her, because you're going to regret it. Getting her to 120 is quite a commitment, although she is just a SR unit. Sorry, not even SR unit, so she's very cheap, relatively speaking. Um, you still need to invest a lot of prisms and paradise flowers in getting a unit to 120, and as a new player, I would really not recommend it. This is really for people that are planning to do a lot of CMs. That is really who should be going for characters like her. You'll have a much easier time focusing on URs as a new player. But for people that are interested in CM, that are like veterans and are looking to round out their account, I highly recommend her. It's also very easy to build her to 120 as well, because as a veteran, you'll probably have a lot of the shards from the Mog shop that you can buy. That's how I got her up to 120. You can use the soul medals, you can use our soul medals, and you can buy her shards. There you go, and get her up to 120 that way. So this is my review for Learte. I really highly recommend her, especially for this upcoming CM. If you are planning to use 100 cost units, I think you have to invest in like a few of these, at least one of these lower cost units, like Learte or Zazan. And Zazan is pretty good too. Like he does a lot of damage. He has a skill that does a 300% modifier, so that's insane. So he's also good, and he has 6 move. If you put Kane's TMR on him, he gets 7 move. So like he can hit you from very far away. It's hard to hit him before he hits you. So he's also very good. I just went with Learte myself, but I think both of them are very good. And as I said, if you're planning on doing CM and you're planning to use a lot of these 100 cost units like Kingmont or Gilgamesh in the future, or even like Black Rose Helena in the future, you might want to think about some time when you want to invest in units like these, because these 220 cost CMs are here to stay. They are, like, even in the future, they keep coming up. So you probably have to figure out some team to use them, right? So anyway, give it a thought. See if this is Learte interests you for this. It is a pity that it still costs the same amount of resources to build a R cost, R cost unit to 120, as well as a like a UR to 120. So that sucks because you still have to use the six paradise blooms and the awakening materials and the fragments of thoughts and so on and so on. So that sucks, but what can you do, right? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this review. Let me know what you think. Yeah, leave some comments down below. I am curious to see what you guys think and what you think of her. And if there are other ways that you're thinking of using her that I haven't thought of, let me know as well. I hope you enjoyed this. Take care now. Bye.